Good morning, student. You are welcome for this interview session. Tell about yourself.
Good morning, sir. First of all, thanks for giving me this opportunity. Sir, I am Mohanram. I am coming from Coimbatore. I did schooling in the Meenakshi Matriculation Higher Secondary School and Presentation Convent. I have graduated from Coimbatore Institute of Technology from Coimbatore. And due to my interest in over PSUs and government companies, I have started preparing for exams. My goal is to be placed in a reputed PSU like Cochin Shipyard. And my hobbies are reading books and physical fitness. That's all, sir.
Okay. What is your specialty in your school?
So in educational or non-educational?
Whatever it may be.
So in school I have participated in NSS. So in that I have involved in going to villages and there analyzing their cultural and everyday aspects of their life. So that becomes part of my school. And apart from that, I have participated in some competitions like football and essay writing and things like that.
Fine. What is the interaction in college life?
So in college life, I have attended workshops and regarding other activities, I have participated in music club and that's a writing club that regarding Tamil. I have written an essay on that. And apart from that, I have visited for industrial training companies, and that's all.
What is your current question?
So currently, I am looking for job, especially in PSUs. I am preparing for competitive exams mainly. Due to my interest over public sector units, I have been preparing for competitive exams. My goal is to be among one among them and to work in one of the reputed PSUs.
Okay. What are the exams you already cleared?
So recently I have cleared RRB stage 1 and TNPC industries, assistant engineer in industries. And recently I have written HPCL exam, NLC and Cochin Shipyard I have cleared recently and TRB Polytechnic lecturer. These are the exams I have written recently, sir. Among which TRB and Cochin Shipyard have scored a better score. So I am here now, sir.
Yes. Tell about your project in UG.
Sir, it is based on the metal matrix composite. It involves three main elements, namely aluminum 7071 and titanium carbide and molybdenum disulfide. So metal matrix composite is nothing but involves a base metal and a mixture of other metals. By mixing of these and by casting method, we tend to be observing the property change among the composites like tensile and the hardness properties. So by observing them, we can improve the mechanical properties and it can be used in various applications.
What is the main advantage of composite material? What we can ensure in composite material? What is the main advantage?
So main advantage is change of the properties, especially ductility, machinability.
Even alloys also the property change may observe. Other than that, in composite material, what is the specialty? Other than the property change, property enhancement.
Other than property changes, sorry.
That is a weight to strength ratio. Okay. For other than other material, the weight to strength ratio may not improve, but here the weight will be reduced, strength increase.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
That's why it is used in aircraft and
Yes.
applications.
By reducing the weight by strength ratio, what happens? The fuel consumptions may be reduced in aircraft or any vehicle. When you replace the ordinary material with composite material, it is the first property you should remove weight by strength ratio, and then it helps in the fuel consumption indirectly.
Okay.
So because of reduction weight, to the fuel consumption will be lesser.
Okay.
Okay. What is your favorite subject?
So favorite subjects are heat and mass transfer, basics of thermodynamics, and metal casting and forging.
Okay. What is the main thing we can observe the product produced by the casting and the product produced by the forming. What is the important thing we may observe in between these two products?
So, in forging, the mechanical properties are improved because of the forgeability. The grain sizes gets deformed, and the mechanical properties are mainly improved. Whereas in casting, due to the complex shapes, we can perform complex parts in casting. Due to the flowability of the metal, complex parts are formed in casting, sir.
Complex parts can be produced in casting. Have you heard about grain flow lines?
Yes, sir.
What is the impact of the grain flow lines in forming components?
So, for example, in rolling, while rolling, the grain structures are uniformly formed in unidirectional structure. While grain elongation, the material takes a uniform and homogeneous properties.
What do you mean by permeability?
So, permeability is mainly involved in casting. While we design the mold, the design should be such that the gases are allowed to be escaped, otherwise the casting defects are formed. So, permeability is nothing but the amount of the ability to escape the gas from the mold cavity so that the material is defective.
What do you mean by castability?
Castability. So, the ability of the metal by which it is to be casted easily.
Yes. What is the difference between hot working and cold working?
So, hot working is usually done above the recrystallization temperature, whereas cold working is done below the recrystallization temperature. So, in hot working, there is no external forces are involved, whereas in cold working, external forces should be supplied to the metal. And in strain hardening occurs in cold working, sir. Whereas in hot working, the oxide formation occurs and scales are formed in hot working, sir.
Fine. But you may remember that in hot working also force may be required, cold working also force may be required, but here it is lesser.
Okay, sir.
Okay. And what are the other two subjects you have mentioned?
Heat and mass transfer, basics of thermodynamics, sir.
What will be temperature?
So, temperature is the scale of measurement of the heat, sir. Basically, it is either measured in Kelvin or degree Celsius. When there is a temperature difference, we can say that the heat is produced.
What is the difference between thermodynamics and heat and mass transfer, heat transfer?
Sir, in thermodynamics, we will deal with the conservation of energy and the conversion of heat into work. Whereas in heat transfer, the rate of heat transfer is involved. That is, the constant time plays an important role in heat transfer.
So we are studying heat in terms of joules in thermodynamics. There in heat and mass transfer,
Joule per second.
which is what? Yes, and one more thing you should remember, in thermodynamics, we are studying subject in equilibrium condition, there non-equilibrium. In heat and mass transfer, non-equilibrium. State first law of thermodynamics.
So, first law deals with law of conservation of energy. It states that for a cycle to run for a closed system, the net heat transfer should be is equal to the net work transfer.
State second law of thermodynamics.
Sir, it is basically divided into Kelvin, Planck and Clausius statement. Actually, second law derives the directional characteristics. Mainly, Kelvin, Planck law states that it is impossible for a cycle to perform when the heat in the hot reservoir is completely converted into work. So, it is not possible to convert with the help of a single reservoir only. Whereas in Clausius statement, it is not possible to transfer heat from a low temperature reservoir to high temperature reservoir without the aid of the external source of work.
State third law of thermodynamics.
So, the third law of thermodynamics states that the entropy of the crystalline substance is zero.
Pure crystalline
substance is zero.
Is zero at absolute temperature.
Yes, sir.
I have three terms: internal energy, enthalpy, and entropy. You should state the difference between all these three things.
Okay, sir. Sir, entropy basically means the randomness of the molecules or disorderness of the molecules, when there is an external disturbance over the system. And enthalpy is defined as the total heat content of the system. It is basically the sum of the internal energy and flow work. And internal energy is the energy possessed by the body or the system. That's it.
So specifically the internal energy and the enthalpy. Here also total heat content. There are also total heat content. What is the main difference between these two, internal energy and enthalpy?
So internal energy, it is not given by the external source. It is already possessed by the system, sir.
Okay.
Whereas enthalpy, when it is heat, external heat is given, the system absorbs a change in or rise in heat, which tends to increase in enthalpy.
Okay. But you should remember one thing.
Okay.
This internal energy is meant for closed system. Enthalpy is meant for open system. Both are the total heat content. When you supply heat in the closed system, the internal energy may rise. Okay. In open system, when you supply the heat, that heat content is the enthalpy. So it is basically two different heat content. It is meant for closed system. Internal energy is meant for closed system, and the enthalpy is meant for open system. And entropy is the percentage of heat content. So it is the quality of the heat. This first law. In the first law itself, we can get the quantity of heat. Quantity means heat content.
Yes, sir.
That's all. There, entropy percentage of heat content, it is the quality of the heat.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it is the percentage of heat content.
Okay.
So in the formula itself, you can get it ds equal to dq by t. So the percentage is the percentage.
Okay, sir.
It gives the definitely quality of the heat content. Entropy term plus the quality of the heat content.
Okay, sir.
And state Boyle's law.
The pressure is directly proportional to volume in Boyle's law, whereas the temperature remains constant. Sir.
What is it in ideal gas and real gas?
So in ideal gas, the pressure is low and the volume is high. In real gas, the pressure is high and volume is low. The voids are not present in real gas. Sir.
Voids are not present in the real gas. Okay. Voids are not present in the ideal gas. It is without voids. Ideal condition means without voids. The real gas, voids are present. Because of that, in the real gas equation, we are mentioning V minus B.
Okay, sir.
Ideal gas equation only B.
Okay.
Okay. State the equation of state. Mention the equation of state.
For ideal gas.
Ideal gas.
So the equation is PV is equal to mRT.
Yes.
P is the pressure, V is the specific volume, M is the mass, R is the characteristic gas constant, T is the absolute temperature change.
Okay. When it is specific volume, you have to mention that PV equal to RT.
Okay, sir.
When it is volume, you can say PV equal to mRT. Okay. State the equation for a real gas, Van der Waals equation of state.
So P plus A by divided by V square into V minus B is equal to RT, sir.
What that plus A by V square? Why the plus A by V square is there?
So as I have said that pressure will be high in real gas. So
Yes. So why the pressure is high in real gas? What is the reason behind that?
sorry, sir, I don't.
Due to force of attraction between the molecules.
Okay, sir.
One molecule and another molecule are attract towards each other. Because of force of attraction, we are having
Pressure rise.
pressure rise. And V minus B represent the
Decrease in the volume.
volume due to the
Voids.
voids. So voids are present in the real gas. Okay. What do you mean by Joule-Thomson coefficient?
So it is basically done to observe the rate change in temperature. It states that the change in temperature with respect to pressure at constant enthalpy is Joule-Thomson coefficient.
Define throttling process.
So throttling is defined as a constant enthalpy process. It is observed when the gas is passed through a passage or the throttling device called capillary tube. When it is try to expand, the pressure decreases, whereas the enthalpy remain constant, sir.
What is the free expansion process?
Sir, in free expansion, suppose we consider a closed container in which the gas is there. If the piston is slowly expanded, the molecules tends to be disturbed and brings back to the original state. That is, if it is converted into kinetic energy, and by hitting of the valves, it regains back the internal energy which was in the original state. So this implies that work done is zero in free expansion. That's all, sir.
Okay. Why should I hire you?
Sir, I'm a technically potential candidate. I'm self-motivated and a hardworking person. If I get selected for the Cochin Shipyard, I will put my 100% towards the job enhancement and for the growth of the company. So that's it.
What is your strength and weakness?
Sir, my strength is persistence and sincere to the job or whatever I'm involved in. My weakness, I don't have. My weakness, sir, is I'm a little introvert person in group activities or in among social groups.
What do you know about Cochin Shipyard?
Sir, Cochin Shipyard, it is a Miniratna company. It is established in 1972 and owned by Government of India in 1972. It basically involved in shipbuilding, repair and ship design operations. It is the first green shipyard port in India. It has been known for building INS ships, and it is recently involved in serving country by serving 9 floating board outpost vessels to the border security forces.
Okay, it's a nice interview. Have a nice journey. All the best, champion.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.